So, what made Rabbi Tarfon so special? In Pirkei, the Rabbi Natan, chapter 18, Rebbe lays out and says when students would go to him, people would come to him. He says it was like rocks or nuts that were piled up, and that you would take out a nut or two or a rock or two, and everything would start to shake, everything would start to jiggle. And what would come out? There would be scripture, there would be halacha, there would be mishnah, there'd be midrash, there'd be Agadada and Kabbalah, and there would be also Gemara that would come out. In other words, Rabbi Tarfon, who served in the temple as a Kohen, he actually did the divine service in the temple, actually was there when the divine name was pronounced, the Gemara records. He was also Rabbi Akiva's teacher. He is a force of nature in learning. This is somebody who was taking everything. You knew where everything came from. You have a scriptural source, what our source is. What is the tradition of the sages? What is the tradition of the sages with midrashic interpretation and also with Kabbalah? And finally, what is the halacha? That is what a rabbi is supposed to be like. Today in Gullis, we are in a famine. We're in a drought. We don't know what Torah is. That is what Torah is. When he was asked a question, it was quivering with all of these things that would come out. And it says over there in Pirkei de Rabbi Natan that the person would leave like wealthy. In other words, wealthy in wisdom. It would build wisdom. So today, when you hear somebody sitting there giving drushas and there's no sources, there's no connection to scripture, there's no connection to the Mishnah, to the Gemara, and you just wonder, where is this person getting this from? Or you hear shiurim about current events given by a guy with a long beard, or some guy with a long beard talking about philosophy or something like that. And there's no connection to halacha, there's no connection to our tradition. It's very different from what Rabbi Tarfon represents, and that is what we need to look for. That is what food is. That is what spiritual nourishment is. That is the style. And when we're learning, we need to be aware of trying to gather in those things. We need to pay attention to where is the source. Where is the source in Chazal? And also, how does it connect back to the scripture? And how does it connect back to the halacha? Have a great day.